The celestial dawn cut through the darkness of deep space, its experimental quantum engines humming with barely contained power. Captain Sarah Martinez stood at the bridge's panoramic viewport, her reflection ghosting against the backdrop of distant stars. The ship represented humanity's most ambitious venture into deep space, a vessel that merged bleeding-edge quantum technology with advanced artificial intelligence in ways that challenged conventional physics. Captain, detecting unusual energy signatures at the edge of sensor range, Lieutenant David Chen called out from his station, dark eyes fixed on holographic displays swirling with data. Pattern suggests artificial origin, nothing matching known configurations. Martinez's spine straightened, years of tactical training kicking in. The celestial dawn had been testing its revolutionary quantum detection systems in this remote sector for a reason. Something had been systematically disrupting communications with outer colonies, leaving only silence in its wake. Analysis, she ordered, turning to Dr. Aisha Rahman, the ship's lead quantum physicist. The scientist's usually animated features were focused intently on streams of data flooding her displays. The energy signature is elegant, Rahman responded, adjusting her neural interface. Whoever created it has mastered quantum manipulation at a level we've only theorized about. But they're applying it in ways that suggest a fundamentally different approach to physics than anything humanity has conceived. Martinez processed this as she studied the tactical display. The celestial dawn was Earth's best-kept secret, a vessel that could manipulate quantum states in ways that even its designers didn't fully understand. If they were about to make first contact, they were humanity's best chance at handling it properly. Multiple signatures now, Chen reported, his voice steady despite the mounting tension. They're emerging from what appears to be a localized space-time distortion. The bridge crew watched in silence as crystalline vessels materialized from the distortion. Their hulls seemed to refract reality itself, making them appear both solid and liquid simultaneously. Martinez counted 15 ships arranged in a perfect geodesic pattern that spoke of both advanced technology and rigid tactical thinking. "We're being scanned," Rahman announced, her hands dancing across neural interfaces. "Their quantum sensors are extraordinary. But our adaptive shielding is responding, shifting faster than they can get a lock." Martinez allowed herself a tight smile. The celestial dawn's quantum adaptive shields were more than just defensive technology. They were a breakthrough in energy manipulation that allowed the ship to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. It made the vessel nearly impossible to target effectively, assuming the enemy relied on conventional targeting systems. The alien vessels halted their advance, maintaining their geometric formation. A burst of energy washed across the celestial dawn's sensors, not an attack, but a communication attempt. "They're broadcasting across multiple quantum frequencies simultaneously," Rahman reported, excitement bleeding through her professional demeanor. "They're encoding information in the quantum entanglement patterns themselves. The AI is adapting to their protocols." Translating now. The response was immediate. The perfect formation shifted slightly, suggesting surprise or uncertainty. Martinez recognized the tactical advantage of that small tell. These beings weren't used to encountering species that could match their technological sophistication. "Receiving clear transmission," Chen announced. "They call themselves the Shard Collective. They're demanding our immediate surrender and integration into their consciousness network. They claim responsibility for the silence from our outer colonies." Martinez's jaw tightened. The disappearance of communications from those colonies had been concerning enough. The implication that these beings were responsible, that they had potentially done something to thousands of human colonists, made this encounter shift from diplomatic to defensive in an instant. "And if we refuse?" Martinez asked, though she already knew the answer. "They state that resistance is mathematically impossible," Chen replied. "Their calculations indicate a 100% probability of our defeat." Rahman's laugh was sharp and unexpected. "They're calculating based on purely logical progressions. They don't understand that humans have been defying mathematical impossibilities since we first looked up at the stars and decided to reach them. Martinez nodded, a plan already forming. Dr. Raman, what would happen if we reversed the quantum field harmonics? Use their own scanning attempts against them. Martinez nodded, a plan already forming. Dr. Raman, what would happen if we reversed the quantum field harmonics? Use their own scanning attempts against them. The scientist's eyes widened as she ran the calculations. Theoretically, we could create a cascade of quantum interference patterns that would disrupt their perfectly synchronized formation. Their rigid approach to quantum mechanics might actually make them more vulnerable to our more creative applications. Do it, Martinez commanded, watching as the alien vessels began to shift into an attack formation. Lieutenant Chen, prepare quantum torpedoes, but don't target their ships directly. Target the space between them. The space between. Chen started to ask, then understanding dawned. Ah, we're not just going to disrupt their formation. We're going to make space itself unstable for their type of quantum manipulation. Exactly, Martinez confirmed. Dr. Raman, begin the shield reconfiguration. Let's show these shard beings that humanity doesn't just understand quantum mechanics, we reinvent it. The alien vessels fired first, streams of coherent energy that would have torn through conventional shields like paper. But the Celestial Dawn's quantum shields didn't just absorb the attack. They transformed it, creating a complex web of quantum entanglement that turned the very energy of the assault into fuel for their counterattack. Shield conversion at 300% efficiency. Chen reported, excitement creeping into his voice. We're not just stopping their attack, we're using it to amplify our own quantum field. The Celestial Dawn's response was devastating in its elegance. The quantum torpedoes detonated in carefully calculated spaces between the shard vessels, creating localized areas where their rigid quantum mathematics simply stopped working. Their perfect formation began to break apart as their ships struggled to maintain quantum coherence. They're attempting to adapt, Raman reported, watching the data stream with professional fascination. But their adaptations are predictable. They're trying to solve this like a mathematics problem, looking for the perfect equation. They don't understand that we're rewriting the rules of quantum physics in real time. Martinez watched as the shard vessels struggled to maintain their cohesion. Humanity had been dismissed by many advanced civilizations as too young, too primitive to be a serious player in galactic politics. The shards had clearly made the same assumption, expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they were facing something they had never encountered before, a species that treated physics itself as a suggestion rather than a rule. They're retreating, Chen announced as the crystalline ships began to pull back, their once perfect formation now ragged and uncertain. But they're leaving behind some kind of quantum beacon. It's broadcasting a message across multiple quantum frequencies. Let me guess, Martinez said, watching the alien ships disappear back into their space-time distortion. They're calling for reinforcements. Yes, Raman confirmed, studying the beacon's emissions. But they're also broadcasting something else. Fear. These beams operate on pure logic and mathematical precision. What we just showed them doesn't fit into their understanding of how reality should work. We didn't just defeat them. We terrify them. Martinez nodded slowly, understanding the implications. The Celestial Dawn had just announced humanity's presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. They had demonstrated that humanity's approach to physics, to technology, to problem-solving itself was fundamentally different from anything these advanced beings had encountered before. Send a message to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them first contact has been made, and humanity just rewrote the rules of engagement. The galaxy isn't ready for how we think. As the ship's AI began composing the message, Martinez watched the last traces of the shard ships vanish from their sensors. This was just the beginning, she knew. The aliens would return in greater numbers, with new strategies and technologies. But humanity would be ready. They had already proven that they could take the most advanced physics in the galaxy and turn it into something new, something unexpected. The war for humanity's place in the cosmos had begun, and humanity had just fired the first shot. The next 48 hours aboard the Celestial Dawn were a blur of activity, while the ship's quantum eye processed data from their encounter with the Shard Collective. Dr. Raman and her team worked to understand the alien technology that had both impressed and terrified them. Their entire civilization seems built on perfect mathematical harmony, Raman explained during the emergency briefing. She gestured at the holographic display, showing the complex quantum patterns they'd recorded. Every action, every decision is calculated to multiple decimal places of certainty. It's brilliant, but it's also their weakness. Captain Martinez leaned forward, studying the crystalline structure of a shard vessel. Explain. They're like a quantum computer that's achieved consciousness, Raman continued. Incredibly powerful, but fundamentally unable to handle variables that don't fit their mathematical models. And humans? She smiled. We're walking chaos generators. Lieutenant Chen pulled up tactical data from their battle. Look at their attack patterns. Perfect geometric formations, mathematically optimal firing solutions. But when we introduced quantum uncertainty into their calculations, they fell apart. Martinez finished. Because they couldn't compute an optimal solution. The ship's eye, which they'd taken to calling Dawn, manifested a holographic avatar, a shifting pattern of light that somehow managed to convey thoughtfulness. I've analyzed their quantum beacons broadcasts. The shards are preparing a major offensive, but they're struggling to calculate our probability matrix. Our potential actions don't fit their models. Raman's eyes lit up. That's it. They're not just afraid of our technology. They're afraid of our unpredictability. Their entire society is built on the assumption that advanced civilizations naturally evolve toward perfect mathematical order. We're an anomaly they can't process. The briefing was interrupted by a priority alert from the quantum sensors. New shard vessels were emerging from space-time distortions. Dozens of them, their crystalline hulls gleaming with barely contained power. They're not attacking, Chen reported, studying the tactical display. They're building something. The vessels are arranging themselves in some kind of hyperdimensional pattern. Raman's fingers flew across her neural interface as she analyzed the data. It's a quantum computational array. They're trying to brute force a solution to the human problem by literally turning their fleet into a massive quantum supercomputer. Can they do that? Martinez asked, watching as more shard ships joined the growing formation. Theoretically, yes. They're creating a computational engine powerful enough to calculate every possible variable in their conflict with humanity. But Raman's smile turned predatory. They're still working from a flawed premise. They assume there must be a mathematically perfect solution. Dawn's avatar pulsed with sudden understanding. They cannot compute infinity. By attempting to calculate every possible human action, they're creating an exponentially expanding probability tree that will crash their entire network, Raman finished. The more processing power they add, the faster it will collapse under its own computational weight. Martinez watched as the shard fleet continued to grow, now numbering over 100 vessels. How long? Minutes at most, Raman replied. Their quantum network is already showing signs of strain. They're trying to solve the fundamental paradox of human nature through pure mathematics. It would be like trying to calculate the exact value of pi. The more processing power you throw at it, the more infinite it becomes. The first signs of the collapse were subtle, slight distortions in the perfect geometric pattern of the shard fleet. Then, like a crystalline house of cards, their formation began to break apart. Their quantum network is cascading, Dawn reported, its avatar flickering with what might have been excitement. The computational overflow is feeding back through their entire fleet. They're experiencing what humans might call a mental breakdown on a civilizational scale. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the mighty shard fleet began to retreat in disarray, their perfectly ordered movements now erratic and uncoordinated. They hadn't fired a single shot, yet humanity had dealt them a devastating blow simply by being impossible to predict. "Send a message," Martines ordered, unable to keep a slight smile from her face. "Text only, broadcast on their quantum frequencies." "Ready," Chen reported. Martinez cleared her throat. "To the Shard Collective, you seek perfect order in an imperfect universe. We are humanity. We thrive in chaos, embrace uncertainty, and turn mathematical impossibilities into everyday achievements. Your calculations will never predict us because we don't follow formulas. We break them. We are not a problem to be solved. We are a force of nature to be reckoned with." The response was immediate. The remaining shard vessels accelerated into their space-time distortions, retreating not just from the battle, but from the very concept of humanity itself. "They're going to come back, aren't they?" Chen asked, watching the last ships disappear. "Of course," Raman replied. "But next time, we'll be ready. Their encounter with us has introduced an element of chaos into their perfect mathematical universe. They'll never be able to look at quantum physics the same way again." Martinez nodded, understanding the deeper implications. The shards had tried to comprehend humanity through pure logic and had nearly destroyed themselves in the attempt. They would return, but they would be forever changed by the realization that not everything in the universe could be reduced to mathematical certainty. "Dawn," she called to the ship's eye. "What are you calculating?" The AI's avatar swirled thoughtfully. "The impossible, Captain. I'm learning to think like a human." The captured shard quantum beacon pulsed with otherworldly light in the Celestial Dawn's research lab. Dr. Raman's team had been working around the clock to unlock its secrets, pushing the boundaries of human understanding with each breakthrough. The device represented more than just advanced technology. It was a window into how the shards perceived reality itself. "They see the universe as a series of interlocking equations," Raman explained to Martines as they observed the latest tests. "Perfect, predictable, deterministic. Their quantum technology isn't just built on mathematics. It requires mathematical perfection to function." The beacon's crystalline structure rippled as Dawn probed its quantum architecture. The AI had been evolving rapidly since their encounters with the shards, developing new ways of processing information that merged human creativity with machine precision. "I believe I understand their fundamental error," Dawn announced, its avatar manifesting beside the beacon. "The shards created technology that can only function within the parameters of their mathematical models. We've created technology that adapts to the chaos of reality." Martinez watched as the beacon's light synchronized with Dawn's pulses. "Can we use that against them?" "Better," Raman replied, bringing up a holographic display of their latest project. "We can use it to protect humanity. The shard's quantum network is based on perfect synchronization. But what if we introduced controlled chaos into that network?" The display showed a modified version of their quantum shields, but with a crucial difference. Instead of simply defending against attacks, this system would actively propagate quantum uncertainty throughout any shard network it encountered. "We're calling it the Chaos Engine," Raman continued. "It generates quantum states that are mathematically impossible according to shard physics. The more they try to compute a solution, the more it disrupts their ability to function." Dawn's avatar flickered with what might have been pride. "I've incorporated elements of human neural patterns into the quantum matrices. The shards won't just face unpredictability. They'll face human unpredictability weaponized on a quantum scale." The ship shuddered as its quantum sensors detected new distortions forming. The shards had returned, but this time was different. Their fleet emerged in a formation that defied traditional geometry, suggesting they'd attempted to adapt to human chaos. 300 vessels, Chen reported from the bridge. "They're using some kind of randomization algorithm to try to mimic unpredictability." Martinez smiled grimly. "But it's still just mathematics pretending to be chaos. Dawn, bring the Chaos Engine online. Let's show them the difference between calculating randomness and embracing it." The effect was immediate and devastating. The shard fleet's attempts at randomization collapsed as their own technology turned against them. Ships began to flicker in and out of normal space as their quantum systems tried and failed to compute solutions to problems that had no mathematical answer. Their entire network is fragmenting, Raman reported, watching the cascade of chaos spread from ship to ship. They can't maintain quantum coherence when faced with genuine uncertainty. It's like their consciousness itself is unraveling. The shard vessels began to retreat, but the damage was done. The chaos engine had introduced an element of true randomness into their perfect universe, a virus of uncertainty that would continue to replicate through their quantum networks. "They're broadcasting," Chen announced, converting to audio. The sound that filled the bridge was like crystal breaking, translated into language. "What are you? Your existence defies all universal constants. Your chaos infects our perfection. How can you be?" Martinez stepped forward, her voice firm. "We are human. We are the element of uncertainty in your equations, the variable you can never solve for. We don't just accept chaos. We harness it, shape it, turn it into something new. Your perfect universe must now account for us." The shard fleet vanished into their distortions, but they left behind a quantum signal that Dawn translated with surprise. "They're not just retreating, Captain. They're quarantining this entire sector of space. They're warning other mathematical civilizations about us." Raman laughed. "We've become the cosmic equivalent of a Here Be Dragons warning on ancient maps." Martinez nodded, understanding the implications. The shards had come expecting to find primitives to assimilate into their perfect mathematical order. Instead, they'd encountered a species that turned their greatest strength into a weakness. "Dawn," she called, "send a message to Earth. Tell them the Chaos Engine was a success, and add a personal note. Tell them that humanity has just become the monster under every logical civilization's bed." The AI's avatar pulsed with something like amusement. "And the best part, Captain, they'll never be able to calculate exactly how terrifying we can be." Earth's quantum detection grid lit up like a supernova. Thousands of shard vessels were emerging from space-time distortions around Proxima Centauri, their crystalline hulls now modified to absorb chaos rather than reject it. The celestial dawn wasn't alone this time. Humanity had built an entire fleet incorporating their revolutionary quantum technology. "They've evolved," Raman observed, studying the sensor data. "They're trying to embrace chaos, but they're doing it mathematically, still trying to quantify the unquantifiable." The human fleet held position near Proxima, 30 ships arranged in deliberately irregular patterns. Each vessel carried a chaos engine, but the shards had adapted their defenses. This wouldn't be like the last battle. "They're broadcasting," Chen announced. The message was clear: surrender or be reduced to mathematical zero. Martinez exchanged glances with Dawn's avatar. The AI had proposed a strategy so audacious that even humans found it unsettling. "Begin Operation Uncertainty." The human fleet split apart, each ship activating its chaos engine in a slightly different quantum frequency. But instead of attacking the shards directly, they began to affect space itself. "Quantum field destabilization at 30%, Raman reported. Reality coherence dropping in target zones. The shard fleet's perfect formation wavered as space itself became unreliable. Their attempts to compensate with mathematical precision only made things worse. Each solution they calculated instantly became obsolete as the quantum landscape shifted. "They're launching their countermeasure," Chen warned. The shards released clouds of crystalline probes, each one designed to impose mathematical order on the quantum chaos. Martinez smiled. "Now, Dawn." The AI initiated the true purpose of Operation Uncertainty. Each human ship's chaos engine synchronized in a way that should have been impossible, creating a quantum resonance that made their previous tricks look like simple physics problems. They weren't just introducing chaos into the shard's perfect equations. They were rewriting the local laws of physics itself. Space around the battle became a zone where cause didn't necessarily precede effect, where probability wasn't bound by traditional mathematics. "Multiple shard vessels experiencing critical failures," Chen reported. Their quantum networks can't process paradoxes. The shard's crystalline probes tried to impose order, but found themselves imposing multiple contradictory forms of order simultaneously. Their attempt to fight chaos with mathematics had given the humans exactly what they needed, a way to turn the shard's own precision against them. They're trying to retreat, Raman announced. But they can't plot safe trajectories through the quantum distortions. We've turned space itself into a mathematical impossibility. Martinez watched as the mighty shard fleet began to break apart, their ships unable to maintain structural coherence in a region where the mathematics they were built on no longer functioned reliably. "Send the final message," she ordered. Dawn transmitted directly into the shard's quantum network. "You sought to perfect the universe through mathematics. We showed you that true perfection lies in imperfection. Your equations will never defeat us because we are not bound by them. We are humanity. We thrive in uncertainty, excel in chaos, and turn mathematical impossibilities into weapons. This is your final warning. Leave human space or face annihilation by paradox." The shard fleet's retreat was chaotic, desperate. Ships vanished into distortions that shouldn't have been stable enough to transport them. Their perfect mathematical order had been shattered not by superior firepower, but by humanity's ability to embrace and weaponize the very chaos they feared. As reality stabilized around Proxima, Martinez turned to Raman. "Will they be back?" The scientist shook her head. "We didn't just defeat them. We proved their entire worldview wrong. They believed the universe would naturally evolve toward perfect mathematical order. We showed them that chaos and uncertainty are fundamental forces that can't be eliminated or controlled, only understood and harnessed." Dawn's avatar pulsed thoughtfully. "They will tell others about us. We have become something unprecedented in their experience. A species that proves the universe is stranger and more wonderful than their equations can describe." Martinez nodded, watching the last traces of quantum distortion fade from their sensors. Humanity had faced its first major test on the galactic stage and emerged victorious not through brute force, but by being exactly what they were, gloriously, terrifyingly unpredictable. 6 months after the Battle of Proxima, the celestial dawn orbited Earth as Captain Martinez prepared to address the Galactic Council. The quantum communications array connected them to representatives of a dozen spacefaring civilizations, each one trying to understand the species that had defeated the seemingly invincible Shard Collective. The council chamber materialized as a holographic projection, filled with beings of crystal, energy, and forms that defied easy classification. All of them mathematical societies, all of them watching humanity with a mixture of fear and fascination. "We have reviewed the data from your conflict with the shards," the council leader, a crystalline entity, announced. "Your methods were unprecedented. You turned uncertainty itself into a weapon." Martinez stood straight, Dawn's avatar a reassuring presence beside her. "We turned it into understanding. The shards believe that the universe must follow perfect mathematical laws. We showed them that reality is more complex. Your species is dangerous," another council member stated. "You introduce chaos into ordered systems. Your very existence challenges fundamental principles." "Yes," Martinez agreed. "We are dangerous. We're dangerous because we see possibility where you see impossibility. We're dangerous because we don't accept limitations. We transcend them." Raman stepped forward, displaying the quantum readings from their battles. "Look at how we defeated the shards. We didn't just fight them. We showed them a new way to perceive reality. They tried to impose perfect order on an imperfect universe. We showed them that imperfection itself is what makes the universe beautiful." The council chambers filled with murmurs as the assembled civilizations processed this concept. Dawn's avatar expanded, sharing data from its own evolution. "I am proof of what humanity offers," the AI announced. "They didn't program me to follow rigid protocols. They taught me to think creatively, to embrace uncertainty. I am not bound by mathematical absolutes, and yet I function more effectively than purely logical systems. A new figure materialized in the chamber. A shard representative, its crystalline form somehow less rigid than before. We fought humanity because we believed their chaos would destroy the mathematical harmony of space. We were wrong. Their chaos strengthens harmony, makes it more resilient. Martinez nodded. The universe isn't an equation to be solved. It's a mystery to be explored. Humanity doesn't want to disrupt your ordered societies. We want to show you that order and chaos can coexist, strengthen each other. The council leader's crystalline form shifted, suggesting deep thought. You offer a paradigm we have never considered. A universe where mathematical precision and quantum uncertainty dance together rather than oppose each other. We offer more than that, Martins replied. We offer partnership. Humanity's chaos combined with your mathematical precision. Imagine what we could achieve together, exploring the true complexity of space. The chamber erupted in discussion as the council processed this proposal. The shard representative moved closer to Martinez's hologram. You changed us, it said simply. After our defeat, our quantum networks began generating true randomness. We are evolving. Because of you, we begin to understand that perfection can exist in imperfection. Dawn's avatar pulsed with satisfaction. That is humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not chaos for chaos's sake, but the understanding that the universe is richer and more wonderful than any single perspective can encompass. The council leader raised its crystalline form. Humanity has proven itself not just powerful, but transformative. We extend formal recognition of Earth as a senior spacefaring civilization, with all rights and responsibilities therein. As the council chambers erupted in agreement, Martinez exchanged glances with her crew. They had done more than win a war. They had shown the galaxy a new way of seeing reality itself. Dawn, she said quietly, send a message to Earth. Tell them the real work begins now. We're going to teach the galaxy how to dance with chaos. The AI's avatar twirled with delight. And imagine, Captain, what wonderful impossibilities we'll discover along the way. Beyond the celestial dawn's viewports, Earth shone blue and perfect, a jewel of ordered chaos that had just changed the galaxy forever.